For a zoned-in Razzer is a very terrifying opponent in King of the Hill.
Look, if you told me I had an appointment for Razzer, I would tell you, can we please reschedule?
Okay.
Mikel, a Sparky master in his own right, has hit top of ladder with that deck. Not going Sparky this time. Was wondering if this might be the situation where we see him pull it out.
Yeah, he has been playing Sparky Goblin Giant very, very well.
Instead, looking like some sort of Royal Giant deck.
Razzer here with the ultimate defense deck.
And Royal Giant for Razzer as well. Or at least first. Possibly both of them.
Royal Giant does not get a shot in, and that Mega Minion playing great cleanup for Razzer.
This looking like it might be a very, very, very slow match, Andrew.
Yeah, it's not going to get too heated or too exciting before we get into double elixir, and even then there is so much defensive prowess on the field between these two guys and the cards to back it. Maybe we'll just be looking at lowest single tower.
Fireball to the Ice Wiz halfway through regulation, and Mikel has taken the first couple of shots in both lanes.
Halfway through regulation is a great way to put it, because that means there's only 4.5 minutes left, and you see Mikel getting that fireball value in early. If that's something that you keep in mind from that early on with these defensive decks, you may be able to just start that spell cycle this early.
So we don't know what Razzer's doing for a big spell yet. If he is playing NATO, then more likely than not going the fireball route over the lightning route. So here we are, double elixir time, and first Royal Giant for Razzer trying to make its way across the bridge, and it is lightning. So very interesting to pair lightning with the Ice Wiz, and we will see what that final card is soon.
So even with the use of that lightning, you see he's got 8 elixir in hand, which is more than enough to deal with what's coming down the lane for Mikel.
Dark Prince running right at that Ice Wiz. Shield gets taken off by the Mega Minion. Mega Minion handled by the Princess Tower. And now Dark Prince will meet Dark Prince. Mikel versus Razzer. And looking at these two, Andrew, you have the Fireball versus the Lightning. Who would you rather be right now?
You know, that's an interesting question to ask. I think I'd probably rather be the Lightning, because it seems like it's going to be such a slow game, as you mentioned earlier, that maybe the Lightning value ends up coming out on top just because of the greater spell value. However, you also look at the troops that Mikel has. If that shield is down off the Dark Prince, or maybe it's just the Barbarian, Mega Minion, and the Ice Wizard, you can do a lot of work with one Lightning.
So everyone just hanging out at the bridge, exchanging high fives and giving salutations, and Razzer's troops do come out on top, and back to another Royal Giant.
A great use of the cycle right there by Razzer. It looked like he was just playing defense. Next thing you know, he's back on offense. There's the lightning we talked about, only hitting 2 units. We'll see if that comes back and pays him in the end with this Royal Giant push of Mikel's.
Ice Wiz comes down in support of the Dark Prince at the top. That Royal Giant does get a shot off before the NATO pulls it all the way back.
You say that slight twitch by Razzer, knowing that the NATO was a half-second late, but does not allow a second shot in.
Yeah, it was a smart fireball there from Mikel to push the Ice Wiz forward so it could get finished off, but just not quite enough room for the Royal Giant. 1 minute into sudden death overtime. Mikel ahead by just a hair. Dark Prince at Dark Prince. Razzer going the full Ice Wiz NATO Tombstone combination. You gotta wonder, Andrew, how much role that Tombstone might play as we go later in saving a Royal Giant shot or two here and there.
Yeah, I mean, you look on the other side of it, Mikel's got NATO and Ice Spirit, which are, you know, 2 great defenses of their own, paired with that Ice Wizard.
That does let Mikel get around the horn a little bit faster, Andrew, between Fireball 2 less than Lightning, and of course that Ice Spirit being 2 less than the Tombstone as well.
Barbarian does not get to tower. Mikel leaking an elixir there, trying to figure out what to do. You see that he's on top with the fireball, but once again, the lightning doing over 300 damage. We'll put Razzer back in the lead.
Final minute of overtime. Looking more and more like a lowest single tower situation. Razzer gets that lightning value down.
So he has the luxury. He doesn't play the Tombstone here, knowing that it'll only take 2 shots and then not add a lot of utility on a counter push. So interesting decision making.
And Dark Prince again for Razzer. It's not going to get there in front of the other Dark Prince. Bar Barrel comes down, ripping off the shields for both sides.
This is a fascinating game. You look and you see right now that Razzer is behind by 100, but with the Fireball doing about 100 less damage, it makes them basically even. Now 2 Fireballs ahead.
It feels like this Royal Giant has to get a shot off, and it does!
That is a big-time shot with 20 seconds left.
I was saying, Andrew, it looks like I had to get a shot off in order to win the spell cycle damage, spell cycle race here at the end, and it does. So now, can Razzer just hold off a little bit longer? That Fireball could come back around, though.
This is
Mikel
very
might
true.
just cycle.
Oh, but instead, the NATO goes down. Mikel very upset. He's not able to get back to the Fireball. He can't believe it.